This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Sinlong, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable. Free at last! Free at last! Thank Almighty!
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
Tuesday, broadcasting live between the Clovis Pet Hospital and the Gateway Pawn Center. No other station in America can claim that kind of geographical location, and we say it with pride. Welcome, Bullet Bob Leone.
Thank you, Hoss. Good to be here. Been a while since I've been here.
Been a while. You've gotten better looking. I've just gotten older.
Well, your eyes are bad, too.
And then they are that. And we also have streaming in through Zoom, but only audio only, which deprives the audience of his handsome face. But we'll take any part of him we can get. Guillermo Marino, how you doing, buddy?
Just like Oz, the voice behind the curtain.
Oh, that dulcet baritone.
Zooming in from beautiful Michigan.
Is it snowing there in Michigan?
It snowed. There's maybe about an inch on the ground.
Okay.
Not too bad, but we're 20 minutes north of Buttigieg country, South Bend, Indiana, where that little football team plays.
Yeah, you getting some memories from the old college days. For those who don't know, Guillermo is a proud alumni of Michigan State Spartans. You go down memory lane when you go there and kind of just hang out?
It just makes me feel old at 38, so I prefer not to.
38.
Oh, yeah.
Give me strength.
38.
Oh,
God, did you hear that? God. Yeah, no, that was a dig at us.
What were we doing?
No, that was a dig at us. No, he's like that. That was just a dig at us.
He's saying I've got 2 old guys back at the studio.
Yeah,
I'm going to gig them.
Hey, outside of that, Guillermo, how's the wife, the beautiful wife? She doing? How's Esther?
Everyone's doing great.
Okay.
Michigan is a little liberal still, but other than that, I just drive 20 minutes south, and I'm in Penn's country, so that helps a little bit.
Yes, but if you believe the polls, and who doesn't? Yeah, Trump has a big 10-point lead there in Michigan, doesn't he?
He's leading in Michigan, and I was always surprised
by 10 points.
The eastern part of the state, where Detroit is, Ann Arbor, Rashida Tlaib country, outweighs normally the southern portion and the western portion. But I don't think Joe Biden's not going to win Michigan next year. What I'm seeing on the ground here, and when you're talking to people, and in central Michigan, western Michigan, these people are mad, and they're going to show up to vote. I mean, remember, Trump took Michigan the first go around against Hillary Clinton. She never even campaigned over here,
but narrowly.
And I narrowly. But Michiganders is what they call themselves. Michiganders aren't dumb. They know what's going on with the economy. It affects them here. It's just I don't see Joe Biden winning this state twice. But I'll tell you what, gas is $2.60. So,
oh man!
But those gas prices, they were up so high. So when they come down, they're never nowhere in America is it back to where it was when Trump was president. It's where you kind of accept
Bidenomics.
Exactly, and we're supposed to celebrate.
Bidenomics.
It's like saying, "Hey,
boy, that was good."
Yeah, you hit me over the head with a Louisville Slugger 20 times. You used to hit me 25 times. I said, "Boy, am I happy." Thank you so much. Hey, let's.
Here's the deal. They were high when they were high, and now they're high and low.
That's what Hunter Biden said.
Yeah.
When he was high and low.
I think that's a quote from Hunter Biden. It was about
Pardon me.
It was high when I was high.
Hey, I want to. Can I?
Oh, by the way, folks, this is Free for All Tuesday. Unscripted, totally unscripted here. I have all these notes in front of me, of which I'm probably not going to use any of them.
And you can't read them?
But did you all see his press conference?
Who?
Hunter Biden.
No, I did not.
You did not?
No.
Guillermo, did you see it? Hunter Biden's press conference?
Absolutely.
Well, let's fill Bob in and the audience who
fill
may
me
have
in
missed
on
it.
this.
It was cringeworthy, even if you know the man's guilty. I mean, you're alleged. These are alleged, charges that he took money for political favors from his dad and all that. But there's so much preponderance of evidence there every single day. The experts, even those who love Biden, that are experts on the left in terms of the law, said, hey, this guy's in deep, deep trouble.
Why was he doing a
Well,
news
that's my
conference?
point. He got on it, and then he said what I thought was odd. He went through the litany of things that he did that his dad never helped him with. His law practice,
Lie.
I never did that. His work with other corporations that he worked with, my dad never did anything. Never did. And then when my seats on the board, when I was on the board, my dad never did anything. And he surely didn't do anything with my art. And I'm thinking,
With what?
with his art. He had nothing to do. And I'm sitting there
he was
going,
an artist.
man, it was kind of odd that the thing he got most emotional about is like, my daddy didn't help me with my pictures. That was my art. I did that.
All by myself.
All by my...
With 2 crayons.
I mean, sure, he didn't help me with my art. And I'm thinking, man. Then I realized, you know who coached him to do that, Guillermo? Did you see? Notice nobody was behind him, but strategically to his right and very smartly, just outside of the camera frame, was one Eric Swalwell.
Seriously.
I am totally 100% serious.
My word.
And word has it that against the advice of all the experts that told Hunter Biden, don't go out there, son. Don't go do this. This is not going to do well. Because the press conference was out there to say, I'm defying a subpoena. You know, the same defiance that sent Steve Bannon
to prison
and going to send Navarro to jail.
Yeah.
And all those. And now they're compelled. They're going to have to take action to send him to jail.
What I don't get was him playing the victim.
Oh, my
I'm the victim. I can't believe you MAGA Republicans going after someone that is on rehab and has gone through the struggles. How dare you guys? I feel bad for me. I mean, the guy was totally playing the victim card, and we were all the mean, supremacists, and it was the Republicans that were after him. Yeah. And there's really nothing to see here. His dad is just president of the United States. They barely talk to each other.
Yeah. Your heart goes out. I know mine does too. People that struggle. I had my own struggles, substance abuse in Hollywood. I say this when I speak at groups and they want to hear that story. I've never been arrested, never been in a rehab, probably should have been both. But I believe in second chances. I believe in redemption. But part of that is taking 100% accountability for your actions. And I have compassion for a recovering addict. It's something that turns my stomach when I see somebody at his age. I mean, he's 53. He's getting mail from AARP. I mean, this guy is a grown old man.
Yeah.
And we're treating him like he's some, at-risk kid at one of the local high schools getting mentored. He's not. He's a grown man and take accountability. And there's something just really sad and almost nauseous with me to see this man say, like you said, totally victimizing himself. And how dare you beat up on my dad? And I
think it was a genius move. And I think I would have also done the same thing if I were Hunter Biden, because his dad is struggling. I mean, they can't keep this under wraps anymore.
Okay. But did you actually use? Did you actually use the name Hunter Biden and genius in the same breath?
Well,
There's something wrong. I know you're
crazy genius.
You got those controls right, Jeremy? Am I hearing him right? Did he say it was a
Did
genius?
he fade out for
Air.
a second there? Did he fade out? We didn't hear a word?
Yeah.
The Michigan, no, listen, think about it, guys. No, listen, I mean, everybody's been bashing Hunter. It's not a bad idea for him to get in front of the camera and say, hey, guys, look, I had some issues. I had some problems. Republicans, you're mean, ugly, and dirty, and I'm a victim. I mean, I thought it went over really well. He didn't show up for the subpoena. So, I mean, he literally gave everybody the middle finger, and he walked away with it.
How is that
I
genius?
don't think,
How is that genius, though? I mean,
because he's not hiding.
How does that help him?
Hiding anymore. Listen, his father needs help, and even if it comes from Hunter Biden, you're still going to have a segment of the American population look at him and say, "Wait a minute, this is the guy. This is the guy that did all that." I mean, he looks pretty harmless. Like, okay, so what? He took some money.
So we put all of our troops in danger and sold America's secrets all over the world.
Now,
My
listen,
gosh.
I'm not saying what came out. I think strategically, politically, it was a good move to get this guy from hiding in the basement, get him at the forefront. And let me tell you this:
All right.
remember when everybody said that Joe Biden was in, pre-election, and when he got the nomination, when Trump was just going to clean this guy's clock in a debate, he was going to do this, he was going to do that, and then Joe Biden actually held his own. What Hunter Biden specifically wanted is he wants a public hearing. That's what he said. He's like, I'm not going to walk in there in the subpoena and sit there with these Republicans privately. I want it to be in public.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the kahoonies on this guy. I mean, for him to say, you put the cameras there in front of me. So let me tell you this. I think Republicans are falling in the same trap with the Bidens, where this guy might actually be able to put on a defense that might be able to at least stoop half of America.
It isn't, yeah, but it's
Or the 34% that still think his dad is doing a good job.
Yeah, but I was going to ask you:
I mean,
do the people are going to vote for him? Do they even need any duping?
No, they're going to vote for him one way or the other. They don't care about any of this stuff.
They do not.
I was
care.
watching the Talking Heads this morning on Fox. The Challenge or Unchallenged, whatever it is, sitting around, and they had a
Fox and Friends.
They had a I don't know. They had a Democratic speaker there, some lady who seemed to think she was pretty smart, and she actually said, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She actually said, they were talking about the economy and what a great job Joe Biden has done.
Oh yeah,
with the economy.
Yeah,
and I'm sitting there looking at this lady, and I said, "What rock did you come out from under? You can't be a rational, clear-thinking American.
If you don't like Bobby, you just got to understand this.
Okay, maybe I'm missing the point.
No, you really are.
Give me your thought, your pearls of wisdom.
If you do not only tolerate but enjoy paying 4 times what you used to pay for a loaf of bread, you're a racist.
Mm-hmm. On my limited income,
you're a racist.
As an older adult, as a seasoned citizen, as Rush used to say.
If you don't like your budget being broken, but when you pull into a gas station, if you don't like making a choice between, food on the table and getting school clothes for your kids because the prices are so crazy, you are a racist individual, even if you're black.
I guess I am.
That's how these people roll. Here, let me.
Hey, but listen, but here's the thing, guys, and I say this every single year. It's not bad enough yet. And I always cringe when I say this, because coming out of COVID, where the government, kept you in your house, kept you from church, kept you from work, that still wasn't enough to get individuals to wake up and to stop voting these people in.
Right.
So, you and I are looking at like, oh my goodness, America, like, how could you vote for the guy? You still have groceries on the shelves. You still have gas at the pump. People are still living. The amount of people are going to spend a little less on Christmas gifts, but they're still going to buy Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
The reality is this, and I want the Republicans to understand, fellow conservatives, listen, for you and me, who we breathe and eat the news and are politically engaged, we're looking at it. We're looking at our retirement. We're looking at the housing cost. We get it. But people that live paycheck to paycheck, that don't have stocks, that don't own a home, for them, it's like, oh, okay, I'm paying a little bit more here. I guess it's not that bad. Oh, but if Trump gets back in, it's going to even be worse.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their mentality. And we got to be real. We all see it, but half of America doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, and some of that, and Haas knows of who I speak, are socially elite.
I ran into him the other day, going into the
yeah, he said he saw you at the doctor's office.
Yeah, he looked good. Go ahead.
Yeah, and he of course is an ex-college professor, so he's the smartest guy in the room. And he's going for a couple of days of a week of vacation over at the coast for the holiday. And I said, well, what hotel you got? Oh, we're not staying in a hotel. We rent a house. And I thought, okay. But he is in that class that inflation doesn't bother him.
He lives in the Michael Bublé. He lives in the bubble.
He's getting a great pension.
Yeah.
His wife still works full-time at the college. She's making a great salary. So they're insulated from all of the day-to-day stuff that affects us.
And his opinion towards people that support Trump?
You're a racist.
Mm-hmm. Check.
You want the country he wants to become a dictator.
Check.
And he's just a all-around bad guy.
Hates women.
And hates women. And you're just not gonna convince him otherwise, in spite of everything. But again, he's insulated.
You know, as hard as it is for us three here to imagine a mindset that, let me take a step back. If you love individual freedoms, if you believe that is important to the soul of a human being and the soul of us as individuals, families, and a collective soul of a country, to have a country, a system based on individual freedoms. After, in the history of recorded time, it always been dictators, emperors, kings, the survival of the strongest, of a singular consolidation of power into one entity, and to be able to spread that power out and to have power of the people, by the people, for the people. If you value that, you understand a guy like Patrick Henry during the Revolution getting ready to be hung, and he's got his last words to say. And he says, "Give me liberty or give me death." We kind of get that. Some of us get that a lot. If I knew my death was in the pursuit of a quality of life that would result in more freedoms for my children and grandchildren, they wouldn't grow up under a dictatorship like a king and emperor, I would like to think I could utter those words if giving my life in pursuit of that was required. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'd just crawl up on little balls and say, "Don't hang me. Hang somebody else." I don't know. But I would like to think that. But one thing that we can't imagine, us three here, and Jeremy over there for sure, this young warrior for freedom that we love so much, it's hard for us to understand there are people that legitimately would say, as they're ready to put the noose around their neck, "Give me socialism, give me communism, or give me death." They're out there in unbelievable numbers.
Yep.
In this country. They would rather see America completely destroyed and start all over, instituting the beauty of socialism, the historical abundance of joy that communism has provided, despite all the historical evidence to just the opposite.
Yeah.
I finally have got that through my thick head. And it's been a source of freedom for me because I know what I'm up against. I used to think these people just really don't believe that, Guillermo Bullitt. There's something else going at work. Once they understand what they're saying and understand what they're embracing, they would run from it like a scalded dog. Yet you see these protests, thousands and thousands of people living in free countries, enjoying all the benefits of freedom, protesting and supporting Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
And Hamas has young people coming across that border saying, "Give me more Hamas." They don't pull a Roberto Duran and say, "No Hamas." They come across here willing to die.
Yep.
for tyranny. Give me tyranny or give me death. And as soon as this country collectively wakes up to that reality, I think that's when we have a chance to save this country. What's your thoughts, Guillermo, on that? To me, it's a revelation. I think it's something you knew at your young, tender age of 38.
Yeah,
You knew that way before me as an old man. I'm just now in the last few years coming to grips with what I just said.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I didn't think I was going to see this until I was at least in my 70s. But the reality is it's here now. And I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I'm going to blame your generation. I'm going to blame, the generation where the reality is these kids got educated somewhere. Parents are just not spending time with their kids.
And Hunter Biden playing the victim. Go ahead, blame the boomers. No, keep going because, hey, I agree with you.
But hey,
a lot.
Listen, even
we bear a lot of blame.
Ronald Reagan even said, have dinner with your kids. Mm-hmm. Your kids cannot be influenced by anything unless you allow them to. And then guess what? As my generation, the millennials, towards the end of our college experience came the dawn of social media. And then after that, it just fell apart drastically. So, I wouldn't say the old timers have the brunt of the blame, but man, they got at least a good 75 because guess who's putting cell phones in those teenagers' hands? I mean, you're giving them a drug. Yeah. If you want to know why they're supporting Hamas, well, maybe it's because at age 11 and 12, they're seeing pro-Hamas videos on TikTok, Snapchat, and these social media that is presenting these individuals and is presenting this evil in a very attractive way and presenting American patriotism as the devil. I mean, that's what it is. It's
what's your thoughts? Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I can.
How do you handle that backhanded smack to the boomer generation?
When he first said that, I was getting fired up. I was getting fired up. But then I go back to our buddy, who's our age, grew up in the same little small conservative town that we did at the same conservative era in America.
He used to be conservative,
and this guy is far left.
Che Guevara.
Progressive.
Far to the left than Che.
Who says, even though I'm left, I'm right. That's his slogan.
That is kind of catchy, though.
So
you got to hand it to them when they do. When they have a good little slogan.
I didn't say the guy wasn't smart.
Yeah.
So that's directly to Guillermo's point about our generation.
Yeah, but if we're going to all play victims here, let me play. Yeah, the boomers, we stopped having dinner at the dinner table because everybody had to work. If you stayed home and raised kids, then you were just an imprisoned woman, even if you chose to. All the pressures on a woman to be traditional. Stopped really teaching, the Bible. Did that. And we stopped disciplining. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you spank. I got some spankings. I'm thankful for every single one of them because I deserved it. Yeah.
With the switch.
But it means discipline. It doesn't mean...
Had to go cut the switch myself.
Yeah.
Even more.
It doesn't mean you disrespected your mother and not go sit in your room for an hour. That's not discipline, whatever that is. And then the millennials were the ones basically raised by the boomers. But the millennials kind of doubled down on that lack of discipline, lack of communication, the lack of courage to stand up for traditional values when they were attacked, because the country really never had them attacked like this. A faith family country, it had never been attacked to this degree. If it was attacked, there were sneak attacks. There was more to lose by saying, I'm against God, family, and patriotism. There was more of a chance to be marginalized by coming out and saying that. And there was fewer per square inch because universities didn't teach that. Certainly secondary schools, high school and grammar school didn't. They taught reading, writing, and arithmetic, So it was the boomers who missed it, what was coming, that tsunami that was coming, called anti-Americanism, anti-God, anti-nuclear family. The millennials that came on strong, they said, oh, something's coming up here. This is a little weird. But they didn't do anything. Like you said, this phone right here, this replaced your babysitter. At least with a babysitter, if you had a good babysitter, they could interact with the kid. Help the kid grow. Help them really learn in a healthy way. You can go anywhere on this thing.
Read a book.
Those on radio, I'm holding up the cell phone. That became the discipline. Take that away from you if you act up, but most parents didn't. It's an empty threat.
Well, you had participation
So I think
trophies.
we take the blame. I do as a boomer. I look back and
some of it,
and I wish I would have implemented more of what that World War II generation. I was raised by two people from that World War II generation. I dropped the ball. You're right, Guillermo. I did. Now it's so what? Now what? We've got to stand up with the boomers, with what time God gives us left on this earth, and not say, "Oh, it's greater back in the old days," but identify timeless values that don't change and should not change. This whole term of progressive is such a misnomer. It's so misleading. Change for the sake of change is not necessarily progress. Many times it's regressive. Okay, it was nice having safe streets, to have a safe little town. Let's defund the police and see how it is to have lawlessness rule. Because why? Because it's new. It's progressive. Let's do a little experiment. Let's don't put bad guys away. Let's treat people that break the law like they're the victims. And the victims, let's treat them like criminals that they have no rights. Let's do this experiment. It'll be fun. And then you had a guy like George Soros with a ton of money, a doo-doo load full of money going, I like that idea. Let me start funding some DAs and politicians that believe that very thing. Let's turn America on its ear. Faith, family, country, sweep out the old, in with the new. No gender, no borders. No this. Well, how's that working out for the United States of America right now? On that little riff, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to get Guillermo and Bullet Bob's position on where do you start on a pathway to peace in the Middle East. Big question, but I think actually there's a simple answer. But I want to hear y'all's take on this. This is Alan Autry with Bob Leone, Bullet Bob Leone, Guillermo Marino, and we'll be right back. We're ready to go anytime.
Hey, Guillermo.
Yeah.
Is it still cold back there?
Yeah. It's like 20. Oh, it's 36 right now.
Would you tell my buddy, the global warming alarmist, that it's cold in Michigan? Because
it's very cold. We need some global warming.
Yeah.
Start farting.
He told me the other day, it's 70 degrees in December. Don't tell me there's no global warming.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say something.
Well, they want you to stop breathing now.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, 0.003% of the pollution is caused by breathing.
Well, stop breathing.
Yeah, I think we should just turn the world over to the birds. Let everybody just stop breathing and die. Birds don't breathe much, do they?
Who?
Sea animals, they don't breathe much. Well, a whale comes up and loads up a little oxygen now and then, goes back down.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a list here of things I'm tired of. Does that sound like a grumpy old man?
Yeah, but go ahead.
Just a bit.
Can't stand it. Yeah, this guy doing a goddamn porno film. There's a goddamn porno film there in the Senate chambers. And goddamn, Luke, it was a homosexual.
Building been thrown up.
And it was one of those It was two men. It was one of those Homo sapien films. God darn it, little Luke. Don't watch that. Don't watch that.
Get Cassie, we're getting in the car.
Get out of here.
The mule,
I'm just tired of it.
Old Rivers
And me. All right, let's go. Let's get back to it. God help us.
Were we on social media?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
gosh, we're the whole time.
I'm glad I didn't say something stupid.
Oh, gosh.
Like I normally would.
Why do you got to laugh through the tears?
Oh, man.
You got to.
If you ain't laughing, you cry.
Okay.
Turn out the lights.
Hey.
This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Sinlong, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
All right, welcome back to Alan Autry No
Things
Retreat
must
Taco
end.
Tuesday. Do we have Chewy? Chewy's been on the line waiting for a long time. Chewy, I'm sorry. Are you upset with me, Chewy? I can't help it, man. I get emotional when I
Get a
when I
tear
hear
in my
that
eye.
kind of support that we get from Chewy every Taco Tuesday. It's just
Unwavering.
unwavering
I
support.
mean, the guy's always there.
Okay, breaking news: the Houthi rebels in Yemen have just fired on some more ships, American ships, in the Red Sea. Guillermo, what's your take on that? First of all, tip to some terrorists: pick another name besides Houthi. I mean, don't the New Orleans Saints have a monopoly on that? Houthi think they can beat the Saints. Houthi.
Who dat?
Who dat think? But what? You know, but seriously, my question is: you embolden the minute Biden starts backtracking from his total support of Israel to get rid of Hamas.
Yep.
You see Hezbollah up their activities, and now these Houthi rebels. What's your guys' take on that? I mean, did it encourage?
It's a green light for all the terrorists around the world to say, hey, you know what? Now is the time. Now is the season. One thing that the terrorists do worldwide is they wait. They have patience. They know when to strike and they know when not to strike. So I think the world, not only, the Americans, we need to really be watchful and mindful that I think within the next year, you're going to see terror cells all around the world start to act up. What I really hope we don't see again is them acting up here domestically.
There you go.
But
That
Rob,
is the key
but
right
Bob,
there.
don't you think?
Within the United States borders.
Well, let me phrase this properly. With the open border, 8 million people, we don't even know who they are. A lot of them young single men coming alone. That's not a little, red flag. But what are, percentage-wise, the chances that we don't have an act of terrorism that we can track back to this open border in the next 2-3 years?
I don't know what that percentage would be. I would say
Your
it
gut
would be
feeling.
highly likely that we would.
My thing is that there's probably a 10% chance that we won't.
Well, okay. Well, 90%. I can live with that.
Yeah.
I just
Guillermo, what's your
this whole
thought?
thing is
just
it's scary. I'm telling you.
You got
We're inviting them in.
Even the FBI said they've identified 20,000 of the 8 million that are suspected to be engaged in terrorist activity already, but are on the road to it due to their intelligence gathering. So if it's 20,000 that are in this country in the last 2-3 years, it's probably 50, 60, 70,000.
Yeah, well, they're not here to live out the American dream, folks. They're here to make the American reality a nightmare. They want to hurt you. They want to hurt us. And I really hope, because really, who are we going to rely upon? We have to rely upon the intelligence agencies who, unfortunately, are more hell-bent on going after patriots and Americans than they are after
they're
terrorists.
corrupt. They're
So
corrupt.
Come on. You have to. I don't know who's on our side. Like who's actually watching these individuals, or are they not? I mean, it just. I'll just say it. I am surprised we haven't had some kind of attack. But I'm with you. Yeah, I'll be really surprised, and tell you what, I'll be praising God if nothing happens to our country in the next 2 years.
And I tell you, you can almost take it to the bank. Remember, I said this, folks, and I want to be wrong, but when I get a gut feeling like this, I'm kind of batting about 90% in life. It will be via drone, because the old school way of a suicide bomber strapping some TNT on them and going into some crowded area and blowing themselves up. You don't need to do that anymore.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that might happen, just for the show effect. Hey, look, the Allah Akbar, and then blow themselves up. But it'll be, and I think it'll be someplace like a football game. It'll be something to totally disrupt American society. Super Bowl, Taylor Swift concert. And I know, don't say that. Hey, we're living in a dangerous world, and we have to face reality and be prepared for this. Iran, the biggest state sponsor of terror around the world, and including the United States, is the drone manufacturing king of the world right now. And it is too easy to strap some C4 to a small drone, fly underneath the radar screen, and you can actually, from Iran or any place else with your little joystick, just guide that drone anywhere you want to. I've said long ago, I said 3 years ago, you need to ban drones in this country, these play drones that people are getting. Oh, that's it. I really think until they get control of it. It's like letting AI. You're worried about AI getting out of control. You convene to, hey, making sure these things aren't abused. We already got now the way to deliver massive destruction via an unmanned drone. And it's just not a matter of if, it's when. Robert, what do you...
Well, and I guess
on that cheery note, we're close to Christmas. Might as well talk about getting blown up.
Yeah, right? And I guess my question is,
we just don't know when to...
If our intelligence agencies know that 20,000 of these individuals are in our country, what are they doing about it?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to deport these guys? Are they going to get rid of them? What are they doing? They're just going to wait? And to Guillermo's point earlier, these terrorists, they have patience.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything quickly.
Well,
they're going to take their time.
Well, look how long, speaking to your point, when Israel withdrew, I think it was, Guillermo, 2007, I believe it was, from Gaza.
Yep.
So that is, 16 years ago, right?
Yep.
Almost 2 decades ago. Well, they started building on that underground tunnel network immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what the end result was going to be. They were going to build this massive tunnel network and then at the appropriate time emerge from those tunnels and go attack Israel.
They don't.
Let me just say this, and I'm going to get on this.
Well, I think we're missing something, guys. I think drone is likely, but don't forget what attacked us recently that proved very successful, and that was COVID-19. I mean, that's a bio weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe, especially with the Reedley lab, these terrorists now know that they can really harm the U.S. with some kind of biochemical weapon.
Mm-hmm.
We'll all be freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now that the terrorists, and you've seen them evolve in the weapons that they've been able to amass. I don't put something that we haven't even thought of out of their reach. And they have willing partners. China, Iran. I mean, everybody wants to hurt the U.S., whether it's physically, whether it's economically. The world order as we know it does not want us to succeed. And I think a one-off attack, it could be catastrophic, but I think they're looking on a bigger scale. I mean, look what they did on October 7th to Israel. That's what they want to do to us.
Yeah.
And I saw a stat the other day, and I don't have it in front of me, but the U.S. military is at its lowest population or enlisted population for I forget how many years, 100 years or whatever. It's at its lowest point right now. So we're not only being invaded by terrorists, but we don't have the massive capability to defend ourselves. We can't in strategic certain points. So there's that issue as well.
Yeah.
Nobody's enlisting in the military.
Well, one of the things this last 3 years with Biden that has caused me decision after decision, defund the police, border, no border, this surrender in Afghanistan. You can go on. But what hit me really, really hard was 51 generals, people in the intelligence agency, so-called people in the know about the military aspects of protecting our country. By all means, well-respected people. 51 signed on the letter sent to the media that they felt Russian disinformation was behind the Hunter Biden laptop. Knowing full well the FBI knew it was real, the Department of Justice knew it was real, and you have 51 crooked, lying, politically minded, not protect the United States of America, 51 of these people. So we're supposed to believe what comes out of, that's why I say, what comes out of the Pentagon now, 20,000, 100,000. It's just absolute.
Or the FBI or the CIA. Can't believe anything those guys say.
Exactly.
Nothing.
And you
Nothing.
know me, I'm a big supporter of the military. And, I'm one positive, this is going on. This is what's been happening to the military, to the degradation over the course of time. Then this has been worthwhile. I'm kind of happy we're going through because these people are because people are being exposed that need to get out of the military.
Mm.
When you do something, like that. Okay. Anyhow, we got a few minutes left here. Let me ask you this question. I have a pathway, the starting point for peace in the Middle East. I think it is the most rock-solid foundation. Yeah, little old me. No guy pretended to be a cop. And I think 99.9% of you people out there would agree with this. It is saturated with common sense. It's foundational in its nature. And you cannot have any kind of peace in the Middle East involving Israel and the surrounding countries, in particular Gaza and Syria, so on and so forth, and Iran, unless you have this one factor in place as the foundation. And that foundation is this. How in the world can you have a peace treaty between two entities, in this case, the Palestinian people, who are not a state right now? They're trying, some people want a statehood. And Israel, if you don't recognize the other entity, the other people's right to exist, how can you have a treaty? How can you ever have peace in the Middle East? That is so basic. You have to have, and the first road movement that I would insist upon, and it wouldn't be, hey, pro-Israel. It's just being realistic, pragmatic, and nonpartisan, not picking favorites, but saying to the Palestinian people leadership, look, you've got to recognize Israel's right to exist, like Anwar Sadat did. It cost him his life, but he did it. Like some of these other countries that are signing the Abraham Accords, they recognized Israel's right to exist. Folks, you understand that Hamas will not even do that? So these people say there should be a two-state solution. Hamas and that radical element of Islam in Gaza does not want a two-state solution. They want one state, and they want it from the river to the sea, from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean. They want it all. And you're going to, which means you push the Jews completely out. Well, where do they go? New Mexico? Where are the Jews supposed to go? So it has to start with that recognition. You start with recognizing Hamas leadership, recognizing, which they won't, but the Palestinian people, Mahmoud Abbas, the UN, for goodness sake, you could pass a resolution tomorrow requiring that Hamas either recognize Israel's right to exist, or you're going to pull all support for Hamas. And they'll say, truth will set you free, but first it'll make you miserable. Well, the Palestinian people, they don't support Hamas. They're being held captive. Folks, if you believe the election, 75% of the people voted for Hamas. Okay? Now, does that mean I want Palestinian babies to die? Absolutely not. My heart breaks for all of that. But of all of you who think it's so simple, just call a ceasefire. Talk this out. What's your thoughts? Guillermo, take it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Guillermo. Minutes. How do you have peace unless you have that?
I'm going to give you the Trump answer. One state, two state. I don't care as long as they're all happy. And here's the reality: they're not going to be happy.
Nope.
Nobody's going to be happy. I propose this, and it'll never happen. But this is my pathway to peace. Israel keeps Gaza. Israel keeps the West Bank. We tried the two-state solution. That was Gaza. They failed. Why don't we let an Arab country like Jordan, they got plenty of land. They got a lot of land, way more than Israel. You got Egypt down to the south. Why don't you let them give Palestine a little plot of land, because Israel has tried it and it has failed. Let the Arabs in the region deal with the Palestinian Arabs. That's what has to happen. There will be no recognition on the Palestinian Authority side. They will say whatever they want just to try to get a ceasefire. The reality is Israel needs to take it all over. And those people that want peace, and listen, when you're in Israel, and you meet individuals from the West Bank or the Gaza Strip that work in Israel, because it does happen, they'd rather be under some type of Israeli protection. I mean, that is real. I want peace for the Palestinians that want to live in peace, that don't want to harm each other. That's who I really want to make sure that you want a plot of land, that's fine. Go get it from Jordan, Egypt, or somewhere else. And I guarantee you, those countries, unfortunately, they don't want them in their backyard.
There you go. I was just going to make that comment. They don't want to deal with it either. And quite frankly, I think, call me a pessimist, but I don't know that there is any solution at this point. I wish there was. But you're exactly right, Guillermo. The other Arab countries don't want to deal with the Palestinian issue either. So here we are back to square one, having to come up with another plan to try and resolve this.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of land over there, folks. Let's be real.
Yeah, well,
a map.
Yeah, I
there's
understand
a lot
that.
of dirt over there. There's so much dirt over there. Your eyes will they'll bog out. Why don't the Egyptians or the Jordanians, the Syrians?
But if you have
give them a little plot of land,
it was hard enough for Egypt to open the gate to let.
But if you have a
refugees,
right?
But if you have a political organization that the people have so-called elected that will not disavow its annihilation of Israel, if you let them in, they're going to be launching attacks from your soil, and the retribution is going to come back to your soil.
Oh, that would be.
So they know if they let this radical element in, they continue the assaults on Israel. And you got to forget, Israel has the fourth largest army in the world. They have the nuclear bombs. They'd have the ability to walk their talk, and these Arab countries don't want Israel coming in because Israel will do that. And if you have this organization that hates Jews and worships death, that's a bad. Tough combination. Hey, Merry Christmas, folks.
Hey.
On that note. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you so much. God bless you. God bless America. Just do your best. Let God do the rest. It's going to turn out all right. And good Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow, Thursday. Bye-bye now.
Keep smiling.